The Roman Empire was one of the greatest, most influential empires to exist on Earth. With its impressive size, government, economy, and culture, it's a wonder that the empire ever fell in the first place. But why did the Roman Empire fall? Unfortunately, this question is almost impossible to answer. Many factors are attributed to the downfall of the empire, but what's important to understand is that there was no single factor that made it fall. Along with that, it's very difficult to put a solid date on when the empire ended. For our purposes, the end of the empire is 476 CE, when the last emperor of the Eastern Roman Empire was brought down by Germanic tribesmen, but we'll get to that later. While we can't provide a definite answer for why the empire disintegrated, we attribute the downfall to the political separation of the empire, weakening military, growing threat of tribesmen, depopulation, and economic downfall. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the empire being split in half. In 285 AD, the emperor Diocletian came to the throne after half a century of civil war and anarchy throughout the empire. Rome had a growing threat of Germanic tribesmen, less intake of funding, disease, and dangerous military strength, all of which helped cause a crisis in the empire. Seeing this, Diocletian set out to reform the empire in an attempt to restabilize the government. Most of his reforms regarded the military. He doubled the size of the army and took power away from generals. This was an attempt to curb the threats of civil armies and militias, as it took power away from potential enemies to the main government. But by far the biggest, most influential reform that Diocletian made was the split of the empire into the east and west. Diocletian split the empire with thinking that it was too big for one man to govern by himself. Each half of the empire was ruled by a main emperor, an Augustus, and a co-emperor, a Caesar. Diocletian's hope was that splitting the empire up among 4 people would allow for less power struggle, as each person only had jurisdiction over a certain amount of the empire. However, what ended up happening is that the two halves' relationship with each other moved apart, as it became clear that the East was in a much better political, geographical, and economic position than the West. The East had closer connections with other empires, was in less danger of attacking barbarians, and had a strong control over the markets and trade routes of Eurasia. While Diocletian's reforms did deal with the short-term problems that Rome was experiencing, it ultimately brought along the ruin of the western half of the empire.
With the newly conquered empire, Rome's concerns turned from taking control of other countries to more internal problems. Many different reasons contributed to this, but the Roman population was decreasing, leading to other problems. This graph here shows the population of Rome over a long period of time. As you can see, there's a huge